What's going on, Doc? I'm just doing a test for the heck of it. Did you notice that the internet, the pipes are having trouble sending and receiving information? I'm just doing a test for the heck of it. Why the hell not? It's been a while. There's no direction whatsoever. Just pointless. Um, well, good. Yeah, we're inching along into what we would call our winter. So the hot temperature has gone down a notch. But I've got a fan blowing as extra cooling measures. You know, my AC and that together is priceless. My kind of party then. Yeah, we're just testing this out for the heck of it. Um, I went into Facebook and there's no accessibility. I don't know if you saw the that Facebook is down. I'm not a big complainer of Facebook myself. I kind of like Facebook. I like the features, you know. I mean, apart from what I don't know that might be occurring, as far as being able to reach out to buddies and friends and so on, you know, or post random stuff that one wants to post for the heck of it, I think is valuable. But it made me think that, like, let's say Facebook disappears for some reason, which I don't think is the case. There's so much I really don't get on the Facebook, says Jared. The signal to noise ratio is awful. It is. It's not as bad as as Twitter though. Twitter is really negative. You know, when the Cuban thing was happening and people were protesting, I became engaged to help further that along and stuff in a minuscule non-existent way, but whatever. People had, and I shared that. Well, that was kind of my, you know, people do that all the time on whatever issue that they're dealing with, um, on a constant basis. And I typically stay away from that. I might have an interaction or two, on occasion or a comment, but that's it. But when that happened, I was prolific putting out this person disappeared or this family member is missing this person. They don't know where this, and to bring awareness out there and to whatever level I understand the confinement of my particular reach, let's say, but um, Twitter is pretty nasty in that respect, where the people are, but they get nasty, as opposed to, oh, we want to save, a person, there's just happening and stuff. It's just nasty attacks back and forth and so on. Hi from California. Hello. This is just a test. We're just shooting the breeze for the heck of it. No rhyme or reason other than Facebook is down. And I was just mentioning that. There's a lot of people that complain, and I understand there's a vast, list of complaints. But generally speaking, as far as the ability to connect with friends and so on, is through that medium is a nice thing, I think. You know, but other people, might not think so because they have particular insight that one might not be privy to. So yeah. Um, why? But it blanked out for a moment there. It did that. On my other screen, it's still blanked out. It looked like it downgraded for some reason or another. In any event, I was also testing this to see who the heck else would show up, and lo and behold, well, you guys showed up, and so you got. I know that you guys get the notification when one goes live, um, or that you stumbled upon it. Either way, yeah, I know I froze. Okay, good. I so like I mentioned before, nothing, and I might in the lately I've been doing as far as videos and stuff. I've not been doing, but I've been doing genealogy research and so on, and getting really into that. And I might post the my update for my ethnicity results, which came out a couple of month ago or so. And just but it seems to be people kind of like that out there in the. It matters not that you're a woodworking channel or a maker channel. With what people just randomly type whatever research or interest that they have. Regard so if you could put like I don't know, eating a basket of bananas and chasing it down with 4 liters of Coca-Cola, and yet you're like an arts and crafts channel, and people are still gonna click on it that are interested in said topic. So at the end of the day, I posted some of those genealogy videos and stuff, and people like that whole thing, or at least they've done good in my case. So I think I'll do the update for that for the heck of it. Um, Plus, it's it is the update, and I've delved into that for a bit now. So the test is working. Well, thank you. Um, so I've got so my channel has like 12,000. I don't know, is it 12,000? Like 12,000 subscribers, let's say, something like that. 11 points. I don't know what I'll have to look. And 2 people got notified or stumbled upon it for whatever reason. So that gives me sort of, well, it is 4:30 on the East Coast, so it's not like it's prime time television. You did your DNA. Yeah, it's fun. It's fun, and it opens up so many different avenues and stuff. I was kind of surprised with when I did it with all the cousin matches that they give you, and that you're able to sort of look at and say, oh, well, just it opens up doors of exploration, like thinking to yourself, well, how is this possible? Where is it that one connects with these people? And you start seeing all these connections and stuff. I think it's pretty cool. Um, One of them is an admin for your channel. You're an admin for my channel, Doc? I didn't know. Oh, that's right, because of our show, the Mad Maker Show. You're right. I'm trying to be as. Oh, I forgot that whole bit. That shows you how long it's been since we did a live. Yeah, it's been a while. Um, so just to say, if the Facebook, so Jared is not much on the Facebooks as he had mentioned before, but without that connection, regardless of all the shenanigans that, you know, just the human nature thing, people are very specific and we all have our, but the fact that one can come together, connect, I like that idea. Um, Obviously, in the past, one would ring somebody up, but if you think about it, I don't know. It's not like we have a list of all, at least I don't, of our friends and contacts and associates and people. We have email, but in the event of a collapse of a platform like that, which I do not think is the case whatsoever. Um, all those contacts, it's like you're gonna have to fish around to figure it out. It's very surprising. I went through CGI, very private, no matching yet. I've heard of that company and I've seen a few of the commercials, and it seems I like the commercials. I think early on when they started with their campaign, they had a gentleman in a some sort of library or study with a fireplace and books and so on. And it was a very well made commercial where he says, "We can take you back," boom. And then they like show a timeline and so on. And it was very appealing, you know, their pitch. Um, so yeah, the matching part is an interesting thing because if you're looking for that, you know, if you're looking, the reason I did the the testing was because of the matching. I didn't expect the other stuff where the ethnicity thing was, you know, super interesting. But my intent was to sort of get cousin. I heard about the cousin matching, and I wanted to make and carve out roads down up my tree to figure out if I could capture some of those ancestors from the past and place them. But what I discovered is a lot of things. I discovered a whole tapestry of individuals to the left and right of the tree with so many life stories that was humbling. And then so I'm trying to scale the tree because of my personal direct selfish interest, for lack of a better, my interest of finding my way. But in order to do that, I had to branch to the sides because I couldn't get directly, paper trails and so on. And so all these cousin matches, you discover different stories and different historical events, and it all sort of like a tree just branches out in many directions, not just straight up. And so I found that very enlightening and beneficial and educational. So it's definitely um, it's definitely something that makes you a better person if you take it in the right spirit. At least that's my opinion on it. It helps you see a bigger picture. So yeah, I um I think I was curious also just doing this live to see how many people would pop up, and so it was good. I got two, and remember my channel has about 11,000, 12,000 people, but I got two people viewing it, so that shows you the percentages of what's going on, which is great. Whatever it is, right? You know, um, I have pondered doing some other things with the different insights that I've gained from studying all these things, like how to research and all that. Been thinking of doing such things, Hey, Mark, what's going on? This is a test. I figured with my 12,000, subscribers, I'd figure, and since Facebook is down, I started to think, well, what if we can no longer connect with our friends, our online friends, and I said, let me try the YouTube thing to test it out and see how many people pop up out of all the, since the last time I did and so now we're up to 3 people, one more, yeah, um, which is great. Whatever, whatever it is. And so the topic was essentially the test. Facebook is down, which is if you go, I never go to Twitter because, like I mentioned to Doc earlier, it's even if you think of extremely sort of negative and just in the weeds, I think Twitter's an extreme of that because it's an instantaneous and yet packaged like a person's, especially in different topics. It's very like I would say like it can be nasty. People's, they don't have to respect boundaries, and so they throw anything out um, at you, and so there's all that. So I was thinking, well, if we no longer have that platform, how will we connect with each other and this and that and so on and so forth? And so I said, let me try the Facebook, the YouTube, this, and figure how many people would pop up and stuff. And we did pretty. Oh, SDM Customs in the house, dude. I don't know if it's been a while. It's been a while. Hey man, remember back in 1969? We talked a couple times. It feels like um it's been a while. I was just mentioning all that stuff about Facebook crashing and so on and so forth. And I hope you're doing well. It's good to see you. Um oh, oh look, Bob's in the house. What's going on, Bob? Well, maybe see because I also figured this that if Facebook is because we all use these different platforms. I mean, it is what it is, right? They're out there. But if they collapse, if one collapses, what do all these people do that know each other? And there is an appreciation. you know, there's a saying, familiarity breeds contempt or something to that effect. There's a saying like that. The more you get to know people or person, or it's like there are no prophets in their own country or own land. There's a saying like that. Oh, it's just Eloy. I know him already. Oh, he's on about the same old thing. You get to know someone, so you tend to think, oh, we already know. We get, yeah, whereas if there's someone you don't know, there's a limited, scope of what you're aware about the person, and so there's familiarity breeds contempt. Is that the saying? I think there's a saying like that. Um, Looking at the headlines, it's Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, and parts of Snapchat that are down. Yeah. Did you guys notice it was down? Is that why you're here? See, because I figured that. I figured, well, we all share many of the similar platforms. So I figured, let me test this out, since I haven't been on my channel like, this in a long time. Maybe some of the folks over there. Because what would happen if we can't connect anymore? I know what would happen. We just go back to walking around in malls and buying Cinnabons and sitting next to fountains, right? While looking at the Radio Shack across the hall. That's what we'd probably end up doing. Yes, that's my mom's favorite saying. Yeah, yeah, because one I mean, I don't think that's maybe that is universal, but maybe and to different degrees, you know, as far as familiarity, one gets accustomed to a person, regardless of what the relationship is. You get to sort of, you kind of figure, oh well, this is what they're about roughly, and one has to always realize if they're interested in that well, people are much more than the things that we might picture them being. um and so I don't even know why we went down that road, but yeah, I think there's some truth to that. Familiarity breeds contempt, but I don't want to hang my hat on that either, because and I don't want to be wishy-washy neither, but um because that seems so harsh, right? But it seems like there's something to that saying. So like Bob, what will we do? I mean, I do have Bob's email. So in the event of a total platform collapse, and Mark's, in the event of a collapse of a platform, you know, would one just revert to the mall? Video penny arcades, you know, would one revert to that? I mean, what did one do before the mall? You know what I'm saying? What did one do before the mall? Oh, that's true. There's a terrible. I saw that today as well. There's a terrible oil spill all up and down the coast of California. Um, just barbaric. Um, let me do something. Mark, are you are you still here, Mark? Let me see that you're here still. I don't know if you. I'm gonna. Mark probably is not here, or maybe he is. Maybe I haven't said it. Maybe the time delay is like a few moments. But what I want to do is I want to send Mark an invite to the channel. Um, don't know if he's gonna get it or not, but I'll give him the link, and I'll send it via email, and maybe he'll get it and he'll pop in. Who knows? We'll see about that. But yeah, I did see the oil spill. It seems like a rig started leaking, and it just I, I'm on the East Coast, so I don't know. I linked you, Mark. I linked you to your inbox in your email, because that's usually what we would do, is connect via Facebook and do that. But in this scenario, we no longer have the availability of Facebook, unfortunately. So yeah, I dropped the link for you to jump in on here. Just a relaxed chat for the heck of it. I mean, actually, the last time you were here, we were fixing my guitar, which I was cleaning up and pulling all the crud, 30-year crud off of it. Um, Give me a sec, waiting for the email to come in. It's in one of the two. Well, you'll figure it out. So yeah, well, you would know more about the oil spill if you managed to come up on here, so we can chat about that. I mean, what the heck? We used to be spontaneous too. I've sort of edged out of spontaneity because of just you know there's so many they create so many oh, I'm not gonna throw blame on. I was gonna throw blame on all the platform, but they do make it complicated to communicate. For instance, over here, they used to have um, a sort of like a messenger for YouTube. They used to have, and all sorts of different features that are no longer. You could comment on. You can add a video comment to people's videos. So if there was a discussion about whatever guitars or whatever, you could make your own video and you could post that video as a reply in your channel, and YouTube had that feature. But what happened with that feature, I think, is that by being able to do that, all sorts of people have access to more. So I would be interested if somebody posted a great old video and people had comments below. It would be great to. There's Mark. Hey, what's going on, dude?
Oh, just working my tail off outside, man. Racing against the weather to get some landscaping done so it's no longer a mud pit out there.
Is it raining?
It has been off and on. It's supposed to start again tonight or early tomorrow morning. So the jet stream, here I go into weather forecast mode. The jet stream has taken a massive dip down to the south, and with it came cooler weather and rain.
Wow.
So, but we're glad it's no longer over 100 degrees. It's in the 70s. So I'm getting outdoor work done now.
Oh, good. Well, it's like I was telling Jared before. We're coming into the winter, but our winter is sort of like a little less devastatingly hot than typical. But
Yeah.
so I've got my fan behind me and so on and stuff, but it's not as hot.
Yeah. I haven't run the air conditioner out in the shop for probably a little over a month now. So it's workable.
So about the oil spill, have you heard much on that?
Okay, no, I haven't heard a thing about it. Like I said, I've been working outside all day. I had just pulled it up when Linda called me from the other room, my wife, Linda. And I was just looking it up, but I hadn't really seen anything. Let's see, where is it?
It's all up and down the coast or Northern California.
Well, they say I've heard both now because I'm seeing Orange County. See, 100,000 gallons of oil. Let's see. Okay, it was a puncture in an oil pipeline.
That's right.
Off the coast, about 5 miles off the coast of Huntington Beach in Orange County. So that's Southern California.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought it was Northern. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, the oil spill happened yesterday, and they're in the middle of cleanup operations right now.
They discovered it yesterday or today?
Yesterday.
Oh, okay. That's insanity.
Yeah, it's between Huntington Beach and Newport Beach, they said. So, yeah, but they're in the middle of cleanup now. It's going, ongoing.
So how about this Facebook situation? So you weren't aware of it because you were outside, right?
Yeah, well, I came in to use the restroom at about 10 o'clock this morning. It's not quite 2 o'clock in the afternoon here. I came in at about 10 o'clock this morning to use the restroom, and my wife said she was having troubles with Facebook. And I was like, well, okay, give him, it's Facebook, give him time and it'll be up. And then you came on live. I came in to get some lunch and take a break. Then you went live, and then I heard it was still ongoing. I looked it up, and sure enough, that's when I found out that it was everything powered by Facebook is down. So
Yeah.
it's Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, and then they said parts of Snapchat. They didn't say which parts. Not only that, the article said that Facebook is resorting to Twitter to communicate with its employees because their internal email system is down. And any of Facebook's employees and users who were logged into internal apps or using Google Docs to communicate, or a couple of other internal messengers, if they were logged in, they can still use them. But if they try to log in, they're blocked. They can't get in. So they're resorting to DMing each other on Twitter to communicate. I love the idea of Zuckerberg having to use Twitter to communicate with Facebook.
There's a lot. See, this would have been great for our show, because there's a lot in there that one starts thinking, like what I had mentioned before. I started thinking, if our buddies, friends, that we communicate with, family, we do that a lot. It's not the only platform out there,
Right.
but it's probably the biggest, or at least one of the top, where enough people are interconnected there, where relationships are ongoing through this medium. And if it were to
Right.
be like snipped, like it has today, and let's say it was indefinite, well, what would that look like as far as that's why I was mentioning, would we end up back at the mall? Would we end up aimlessly walking around the mall, buying ice cream at the corner, or Cinnabons, and then catching them? What would entertainment look? Because honestly, I understand going outdoors, but as entertainment, and it's good to get sunlight and stuff, but it's very digital is very tempting. It's very comfortable.
So all those people who said I was nuts for keeping my landline all this time, hello. Because I mean, think about that. What happens if a cellular system goes down? Today it's Facebook. What would happen if AT&T had a major malfunction and their cell phone service went out, or T-Mobile, or Sprint, or pick one?
So before the world that we exist in now, for 100 years, landlines were in general pretty secure.
Mm-hmm.
And then the rest of the information we got obviously from our TVs, from the newspaper, and locally from people, neighbors. Word would spread. I heard that during the Civil or the Revolutionary War, because of the system that they had in place with horses from one hamlet to the next, they were able to transfer information exceedingly fast.
Yep.
Exceedingly fast. But we're accustomed to a lot of technology. I mean, this is some, we're not at, you know what I'm saying? Like, what we use is like top notch, even though we complain about it all the time. But this is pretty top notch stuff. If you swipe that from under us.
Exactly. I mean, just think of what'll happen if kids have to start talking to one another again instead of texting.
I'm against that.
Yeah. I see SDM Custom out there just said he Yahoo messaged Tom from MySpace, and Tom says he's okay. So evidently Tom is not affected by the Facebook's outage. All right, cool.
Dude, MySpace you're right. That is an alternative. I mean, I haven't been there for a while, but we might all end up.
I never went there. I didn't get into social because again, we were on dial up for so long, in way out in Stagecoach, Nevada, that I never got onto MySpace. By the time I got into social media, Facebook was already gaining in popularity. So Facebook was the only social media that I got into. And I got into that in 2011, I believe it was that I joined Facebook.
So you're a late adopter.
Very late. Because like I said, I was on dial up. And so I missed out on a lot of things. You know, we weren't, it wasn't the end of the earth, but you could see it from there. You know, we were way out in the boonies, and it was dial up or snail mail. That was all there was to it. So forget about video, forget about music, anything like that. I mean, it took 5 to 10 minutes for a picture to download.
Just inching along.
Yeah. Row by row as the pixels, you know,
until it wasn't worth it anymore.
Yeah. You got the gist of the picture, went, okay, gone. And forget about downloading anything.
Oh yeah. Might have to go and find a ham radio. You know, see, we had that too. So those were the options back in the day. We had mail. Well, we had mail. There was mail, so you could write a letter to someone and wait till it got to. You could call them on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
We had the newspapers for information, you know, beyond our scope, and TV, and that was our thing. And then for entertainment,
newspapers.
But everything has been sort of, you know, surpassed by this incredible internet technology, and with the higher speeds, everything from movies and music.
I think people just became more willing to pay for things. Because if you think about it, for years, I mean, you could subscribe to the paper, but TV was free because it was all broadcast over the air. You put up an antenna on your roof and you got that for free.
Yeah.
Radio was free.
Yeah.
So you pay, the only thing you paid for was a newspaper subscription or a magazine subscription. But even then, it was only if you really, really wanted it. Because, I mean, I know people who didn't take a newspaper subscription. They would get their neighbor's paper the next day. So they were always like a day behind in the news.
Yeah.
But we became more willing to pay for stuff. First, it was cable TV, and that kind of desensitized us. You know, oh, holy cow, I can get stations nice and clear, and I can get stations from 500 miles away.
Yeah.
And then we started paying a little bit more a month for movies on HBO or Cinemax or Showtime or whatever. And then cell phones got popular, and we just became more willing to pay for our information.
Yeah, I mean, but there's bang for your buck, right?
Mm-hmm.
In a way, as far as, I mean, if you think about it, it is sort of, so you can't hope for a better research sort of, you know, instrument than the internet, regardless of one finding valid information. You have to sift through that, but the idea of being able to, you have the world at your fingertips, let's say, it's pretty convenient, you know.
Oh, it's very convenient when it works. And
well,
it's a great source when it works, but it's only when we start having issues that we realize how basic it really is. We think it's very advanced, but as advanced as it is, it's still pretty basic if we have reliability issues.
Reliability is a big concern, obviously. Well, for the past 2 decades, the track record is generally has been pretty good.
Well,
as far as, you know,
let's take it back about 50 years, and just talk about electricity. The greatest set of lights in the world is fabulous, but not if the power is going to go out every so often for an indeterminate amount of time.
Right.
So the features are great, but you got to have reliability built in there, because if you
Right.
don't have reliability, the greatest thing in the world is worthless if it only works 3 hours out of the day.
Yeah. Yeah, which is a scary thought, because
Mhm.
what would happen if the internet, all of it went? Like, let's say this is like one site, which is an
Mhm.
important site in reference to how many people use it. I mean, you could go on Twitter and see everybody's, because that's how people communicate now, and we want our
Mhm.
instant communication. Once we transfer information from one person to the next that we want to get across, that facilitates all sorts of anything from business to just, it's a huge web. Well, what would happen if it all just went to,
Well, it's proof that some of these old cliches and old adages that people think are so old-fashioned and out of date and just should be ignored are true. I mean, the old adage, don't put all your eggs in one basket. If you're relying on any one platform or one platform owner for all your communications, if that platform goes down, you see what happens. I mean, and I say it again, I love the fact that Zuckerberg is having to use Twitter, a competing service, because his is broke. So if you're only on Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, and Snapchat, you're just kind of stuck. I wonder, and there's another little interesting tidbit. I wonder how many people are signing up for Twitter right now because it works.
that's true.
I
Well,
wonder how
yeah.
many people are firing up AOL to get on Instant Messenger again.
How many companies that use one service is saying we can't have this? We're going to have
Mhm.
our employees, although they have internal emails and so on, but and emails and so on, but we don't know all the different variables out there, be it business or whatever. And they're saying, well, if that's the case, we're going over here.
Well, Ruth Ann's got it right here. She says it's not if, but when. One big EMP and bam. Yeah. Yeah. You don't really, I mean, and in fact, Ruth Ann, that scares me more than biological warfare or chemical warfare or anything else. You don't have to have a high yield nuke to do that. Just something for that'll create a big enough electromagnetic pulse to take down electronics. And you mean, think about it. All your banking is done electronically, bill paying and everything else. All
If
that
it
stuff.
if it all go like if all our internet abilities, like world, like say the whole thing
Mhm.
just came to us for whatever reason. I don't know if that's, I think Steve, we had a conversation with Steve about the possibility and not possible and likelihood of that.
Mhm.
Wasn't so great, but who knows? Because there's different servers containing information
Yeah.
and so on. So it's not like, but it would be a big deal. It would probably tank the world economies, and it would probably create all sorts of chaos at this point,
Oh yeah,
I would
definitely.
think.
Definitely. Worldwide chaos, because that's the other thing. Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram are down worldwide. It's not just a localized outage. It's not just the North American continent. It's worldwide. And Americans, we don't use WhatsApp much,
No.
but it's the number one messaging app in Europe.
Yeah. Is it part of Facebook?
It's owned by Facebook, yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
So
I
is
know.
Snapchat and so is Instagram.
Okay, I didn't Snapchat.
Mhm.
I think I have an account on Snapchat. I know I don't have WhatsApp, but I do know that my cousin and they use that in Spain.
Mhm. Yeah, it's
It's
the
yeah.
number one messaging app in Europe.
Yeah.
I know some people in the UK who think it's just crazy that I don't have a WhatsApp. I'm like, it's just
Are
one
you
more that
insane?
it's just one more that I can't keep up with. So,
Yeah. Um, I was surprised, well, I was gonna say I was surprised I got so many people visiting my channel. I just did this test and figuring let's do that. And uh, with my amount of subscribers and people actually, it is 5 o'clock in the East Coast, so it's not like it's prime time or anything. But it just goes to
but it's
show
still
the.
working hours. It's still working hours, throughout the country.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
you're stuck with either the retirees or the folks who ain't commuting or the folks who are supposed to be working and aren't.
yeah.
Like me.
Well, um, so nothing in any event. It was just a test. It was just a test. And thank you guys for hanging out. Nothing. I'll catch you next time. Be safe. Thank you for visiting.
Have a good one, and thanks for bringing me on, Eloy.